everybody, this is Rob Phelan with Choosify Foundation and the Simple Startup. I'm here with Elle McKenzie, who is here to tell us about bookshop.org. And now, for those of you who don't know, bookshop.org is a relatively new business. You may not have heard about it before, but it's going to be a really exciting one to dive into today. Elle, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Rob. I'm excited.
All right, so let's get straight into it. Who are you and what do you do?
Sure. So my name's Elle. I am the media affiliate manager at bookshop.org. Essentially, we launched in end of January, early February to really hone in on the whole literary community as a whole. So I work directly with our media affiliates. And essentially, we have two affiliates. We have bookstore affiliates, and we have non-bookstore affiliates, which are the media affiliates, essentially. And I help to build your sales. I help to create your book list or just promote as a whole to really gain your affiliate sales altogether.
Okay, so let's even go deeper now. What does it mean to be an affiliate seller or to be a bookshop affiliate? What does that mean?
So essentially, to be an affiliate, you'll have your own storefront on our platform. So the bookstore affiliates, they have their own physical bookstores as well as their storefronts. So the non-bookstore affiliates, we offer that for people who don't really have access to starting their own business as a bookstore seller, but you can do it online through our storefronts is what we call them. And all you do is just sign up. It's free to sign up, plug in your info, create your bookshop name, and then you have your own storefront on our platform.
Yeah, and I tried this out, guys. It is really simple. I created the Simple Startup bookstore for just books that I wanted to recommend to other people. So I don't have an actual bookstore myself, but I was able to basically create a shop where I was selling other people's books. And then how does it work? I make a small piece of the sale if someone actually buys through my link. Is that how it works?
That's how it works. Yeah, you get a 10% sale if you have affiliate links where you can either share your URL, your storefront name, or your unique what we call a widgets, which you can also collect through our platform. And any sale that you collect, you'll get 10% of that sale.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. So how does someone get started? Like why would they want to do this?
So our CEO, Andy Hunter, he started this because he really saw the decline of the bookstore community going down, with Borders, which no longer exists, but Barnes & Noble or Amazon really just kind of detracting from the whole local bookstore where you can go and create and meet new people. So our founder started this to really give back to what it used to be. And that's what Bookshop is really about, where we create the community where you can share your storefront with your people, create book clubs, create discussions, conversations, or just give back to the community as a whole. And that's really what Bookshop's all about.
Okay. And now you did mention Amazon, and Amazon has been, I guess they started with just books and they grew into this absolute monster company, but it has been causing a lot of trouble for small individual sellers. And that's not just going for bookstores, that's for a lot of different businesses out there. So is this a way that you're allowing kind of bookshops to adapt and pivot to kind of allow them to compete at some level with Amazon? Is that right?
For sure. And what we have seen also that Amazon has kind of taken away from those bookstore affiliates who have been on their program. They've decreased their percentages. So we offer 30% to our bookstore affiliates, 10% to our non-bookstore affiliates. Whereas for the non-bookstore affiliates on Amazon, you only get 4.5 a conversion back, where we offering 10%. So it's kind of a win-win that we want just everyone to supplement from our platform and just give back to the community as a whole.
Okay. So I set up my store, and so far I'm an absolute novice of this. Nobody's come into my store, shockingly, and bought anything from my store. So what am I doing wrong? What do you have to do to make this thing work as a non-bookstore affiliate? So I don't have a physical bookstore. I just want to be able to sell or recommend books to people that I'm really passionate about and I really like.
So the first thing is to promote. So whether it's through social media or just word of mouth. We also see a lot of people turning high conversion rates when their audience knows that by making this purchase, you're giving back to the community. You're supporting a local bookstore that is in need, especially during COVID right now. We've really seen a high conversion rates towards that. Also, we do also see where people like to see their storefronts with personality. So in addition to just books that you like, okay, what else is going on? So when in the June with the uprisings that we saw with all the protests, a lot of storefronts made money where they were doing anti-racism type of curated book lists. So anything that's topical, we've really seen also really connects with the audience and helps them buy through your storefront.
Okay, so having specific themes to the types of books you're offering, or I imagine if you're going to connect this to something like a social media platform or a blog or a YouTube channel, that you're not just pushing out the same stuff all the time generically. You're kind of focusing in on different groups, topics, news items, things that would be of interest to people. So there's more than just like saying, oh, this is my favorite book list, one post, off you go, and you're done.
Exactly. And that's another thing that sets us apart from Amazon or even Goodreads. We don't have an algorithm. All of our books that is curated either through a storefront or even on our homepage, which is through our editor, Kevin, is organic and through a human, and what we hear from what's going on in the world, what's going on in the community. What do people want to read? What are people interested in?
Okay, so you could even look at that and take inspiration from it to see, okay, what are some of the more popular and topical items right now, and then see, is that something you want to include in your own bookstore? Very
Absolutely.
interesting. All right, so what else can people do, or what do you see other sellers doing that really works well? How can you increase that? You talked about conversion rate, and for those of you who aren't familiar with what that is, conversion rate is the number of people who maybe see an advertisement, or if you're a physical store, that'll be the number of people that would walk into your store and then make an actual purchase while they're in there. So just for context, the average physical store, so you think about your downtown area, they have typically about a 20% conversion rate. So 1 in 5 people who walk in would actually buy something. The rest of them are just kind of browsing. Online stores, I mean, you're talking a home run is usually anything around 10%, but that's very rare. The average online store is usually somewhere between 1 to 3% for a conversion rate. So what do we do to improve that? Because I
Yeah.
know I'm not getting that.
No, that's actually perfect, because actually we see on from a numerical standpoint, we see a conversion rate of about $50 on in each person's cart. So you will make obviously 10% of that. That's $5 that goes to your storefront. But a lot of what we see is the more eclectic your book list is, you don't want to make it too generic. You know, you want people to have options. So if I see just a whole diverse variety on your curated list, then you'll have a better chance and higher increase of your people buying more books through your storefront.
Okay. So that's good. Yeah. Don't be generic. Try and have that niche market, which we've talked about as well in the simple startup. Like you want to focus on one particular group of people, come up with that customer avatar and really focus your marketing towards them, and your products as well need to also be suited towards them. You can't sell to everybody. It just doesn't work. So focus on particular groups, and you can have, like you said, curated lists for different groups. So you can have multiple target markets, multiple small niche markets, and then you advertise to each one differently. Okay, I got it.
And our cure list, another thing, it's unlimited. You can have a limited amount of lists, amount of books that goes into that list. So just have fun with it.
Awesome. So a lot of my audience are minors. They're under 18. So this is first-time business owners. They're going through the Simple Startup Challenge, or they're doing it in school. Can a minor do this? Because I know there are oftentimes a lot of platforms that just say, if you're under 18, we're not dealing with you. It's not happening.
No, we don't exclude anybody. By all means, we really actually encourage the underage people to get involved in the business side of things. You are absolutely welcome to join. You will need a bank account if you wish to withdraw the money. So probably either from a guardian or from your parent. But you are free to sign up and create your storefront free of charge, below 18 or above 18.
Okay, so very key there, free of charge to get started. That's always nice. We like those, especially as simple startups. And you can do it as a minor, but you do need that bank account. And that's a super important thing for your business anyway. If you are under 18, that's going to be a custodial account. So you need a parent or a guardian signing onto that account with you. And then the minute you turn 18, that account becomes yours and solely yours. But if you have questions about doing custodial accounts, look for our video about how to set up a custodial bank account. All right. So what is the biggest challenge that you see a typical bookshop seller having, especially if they're not getting any traction in their store? Like, what's the biggest problem that they're not overcoming?
I think one thing that really couples with being a storefront owner is really just the marketing side of things that we see people struggling with a little bit. But with all the social media accounts that's out there, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, that is really the best way to really get your storefront out there. So we see a lot of people who are struggling with making their sales because they're not promoting their storefront. So how are people going to know about it if
Shocking.
you don't talk about it, So I think just the more that you promote and really stay on top of what's going on in the community and what's going on in the world, I think you'll have a better chance of increasing your sales.
Okay, but like social media, it's great to use it, but it's not that simple. You can't just say like, here's a book, go buy it. And like, I've made a post, we're done. Like, what does a good social media post look like if you're going to try and advertise a book?
I think also targeting just who it is. So, okay, maybe we dive back a little bit. So what is your creative list about? Let's hone in on that. And then you target it to just social media accounts that have those type of audiences for them to either retweet or for them to regram on the Instagram. Or even if you want to go in from a different route, like online mags where you can also promote from your storefront from there. Either way, I think is a great way to generate sales.
Okay. Is it important to read every book that you promote?
No, I don't think so. I have stuff on my own curated list that I haven't yet read, but actually have it to be read. My TBR list is on one of my curated lists. So I don't think so.
So you let people coming know that, I'm excited to read this book, but I haven't yet read it, but it is on my list, sort of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you think it's a mistake to ever like recommend a book you haven't read and kind of say like, oh, this book's amazing, you should pick it up, but you've never actually read it yourself? Like, is that a kind of a no-no in the industry? Or is it, if you get enough recommendations from other people that you think it's a pretty decent book, that it's okay to do that? Like, where's the line there?
I guess it depends. If obviously you want to be transparent at all times, you don't want to say, hey, this is a phenomenal book if you haven't read it. But if you've seen certain reviews or people who critics who you can trust and value, I think it would be okay. But be wary that, yeah, you don't want to say certain things that you're not familiar of about the book without first formulating your own opinion on it.
Because will your store get reviews from people who buy from your store?
No, they will not. But you are able to do certain reviews in your curated list. We have an annotated section where you can do that. And we also have tons of literary mags who do reviews, who then outlink or hyperlink to our Bookship account. So it is possible as well.
And do you as a seller have a profile that gets reviewed by people who buy from you?
Not yet, but we're bridging it out. We're still fairly new, but that is something in the pipeline.
So if that does come about, same thing as selling on any other online platform, you want to build trust with your audience. And if you are recommending books that you've never read and they turn out to be absolute duds and they're not really, or maybe not appropriate for your audience, you don't want those negative reviews coming back in, that negative feedback, because as soon as those star ratings go down, it's hard to build back up. For every 1-star rating you get, it takes a lot of 5-star ratings to cancel that one out. So honesty and transparency for sure. If you are rating a book maybe that you haven't read, make sure that you're doing your homework on it and getting the trusted sources, as Elle said, to back up your opinion on it. Don't just put something up there because you're like, oh, that's an expensive book, I'll get a great commission off this one. And you've never read it, you have no idea if it's a good book or not. So you do want to take care of your customers. You always want to have that customer-centric view first and foremost. All right, any final tips for our sellers out there or anyone thinking of getting started?
Final tip, I say just have fun with it. The more creative you are, the more loose and you show your personality through your storefront, I think is going to be the best way to really gain sales from what we've seen through our community.
Okay, fantastic. Elle, thank you so much for joining us today. Is there any way that they can get in contact with you, or how do we get started? Like any kind of final contact information that we can use?
Absolutely. Definitely sign up immediately, and should I give my email address to you, Rob, or you can pass it on to your folks, but it's just LELE.McKenzie, McKenzie @bookshop.org. Feel free to email me anytime. I'm happy to walk you through setting up your storefront, getting your curated list together. I'm here for you anytime.
Awesome. I will have that in the notes on this video. So that's perfect. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you, Rob. It's been a pleasure.